डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Namaskar. I, Dr. Darshana Dalwadi, is welcoming you all to the lecture series of Principles of Cybersecurity from the Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. Friends, in last lecture, we discussed about the topics of attacks. Actually, we are learning about cybersecurity, so we are going to see that how we are having the attacks in our system, how one can threat the system, and what are the consequences we are having from it. Now, first thing we have, that is the attacks. Right now we are discussing what is already discussed. Now see, first thing we discussed, that was the SQL injection attack. In that we have seen that how different SQL injections they are conducting. Then denial of service attack, it is also called as DOS, and distributed denial of service attack, DDoS. Then man in the middle attack and session hijacking. In that we have seen that in between the transmission of the information from one end to another end, how the session is hijacked and how the attack is performed. After that we have discussed about brute force attack, that is also called as the password attack, in which we discussed that how the attackers are trying different passwords and how they are getting the information, how they are stealing the information. Then after we also discussed about malware attacks. In malware attacks we are having number of types. We have discussed macrovirus, then trojans, then logic bombs, droppers, ransomware, adware, spyware, zero-day exploit. All this is discussed. Now up to this we have seen that how the attacker is performing the attack. Now the thing is coming is what? Attacks are there, but now how much harm the attacks has done to our system and how risky the attack is, that we are going to learn today. Now in that, first thing we have, that is risk assessment. Now as the name suggests, what we are going to do, assessment means we are measuring something. We want to measure that how our system is infected from the attacks we got in our system. And here we are measuring what? Based on the attacks, what are the risks involved in it? That is what we are going to see in risk assessment. So clear? Now see what we are having in risk assessment. When we are talking about risk assessment, at that time we first need to identify the threat and the vulnerabilities which are connected with it. From where the attacker has attacked our system, that we need to identify first. It is very important to build a robust security architecture. It always starts with identifying what are the important assets which need to be secured from threats. Now when we want to start the assessment of risk in our system, then from where we will start? First we need to identify that what are the important assets. In our system many assets are there, tangible assets, intangible assets. So to which we will give the priority? First we need to identify that what are the important assets we have in our system, and based on that we will identify that how much risk we are having. First identify the important assets in your system, then after you can also consider that to which things we need to secure more. In system number of things are there, number of criteria are there, but to which criteria you want to provide more security, that we need to identify. And for that we will do the assessment of the risk first. Then after, another criteria will also be considered, but first step is identify the important assets and the security measures which you are going to provide to it, right? Then after, the first and foremost task is to define the scope of the cyber security risk assessment. Now we have identified that what are the important assets. Now the next thing is what we have to identify the scope. We have to define the scope. Whatever system we have, in that how much scope we will have for our risk assessment, means which things we are including. Scope means whatever it is including, that is considered as a scope. So we have to identify the important assets of our system, and based on that we have to define the scope of the cyber security risk assessment. Then next thing we have, that is when we are able to estimate the associated risks to the business, that is the very important thing. Our system being able to estimate the associated risk to the business is very much important. Otherwise what will happen, we will not be able to identify the risk associated with the system. Now we are talking about risk assessment, but how to assess it? For that we are having one equation that is called as the risk equation. Now in that what we are having, we have to consider number of things. First thing we have, that is assets. As I told you that we need to identify first the important assets. Then after we are having in equation, that is threats. Threats indicate what? The attacks which we are having on that assets. Then after vulnerabilities. What are the vulnerabilities associated with it, from where the attacker has attacked? Then after considering all these things, we will have countermeasures, or we can say the controls, right? Based on this, whatever answer we get, that will be the risk associated in that system. Now here clarification is given, whatever terms we have used, what it actually means. First thing we have, that is assets. Now assets means what? The things what we are going to protect in our system. System is there, we want to protect something. The things to which we are trying to protect is called as the assets. Then after we have threats. Threats means what? What we are trying to protect against. Simply you can understand the attacks we are having. When we are having attacks, we have to provide a security to our asset from that attack. So that will be considered in threats. So here you can understand that what is threat, what will be threat in your equation. Threat means what we are trying to protect against. Then after vulnerability, it means what we are trying to address, from where the attack has came in our system. That address is called as the vulnerability, means what we are trying to address. Then after we are having controls. Controls means what we are doing to address them. All these things are there to address them, to control them. What we are doing are called as the controls or the countermeasures, or we can say the steps which we are taking are called as the controls or countermeasures. So this equation is clear. What we have to do? We have to multiply all these three things: assets, the threats, and the vulnerabilities. Whatever answer we get, we have to divide it by the countermeasures or controls. Now you may have the questions that how to write the value here. Here the words are written, but later on we are going to see that how to identify the values for these three letters, or these three things: asset, threats, and vulnerabilities. Then after countermeasures also. So based on that value only we will get the risk. Now when we are giving here the value of these three things and the control measures, we will also get the value for risk in the form of numerical value. Getting? So next thing we have, first we will discuss that what actually assets are, which type of assets we can have in our system. Now when we are talking about the assets, at that time first thing what we will have. Assets can be categorized in various types. As I told you that when we are having any system, at that time many things are there which can be included in system, which will work as an asset to our system. Now what that is? What is that? First thing we have, that is hardware, then the software, the data stored in it, the communication channel through which we are transferring the data, that is also considered as an asset. In channel, we are saying that communication channel, but in communication channel what we can have the different devices which we are using for communication, which may include the cables which we are using from one place to another place. We have the cable connection for transmission of data, so that is also considered as an asset. It can be described in two ways. First one is physical assets. Now in physical assets, what we will have? Physical assets means to which we can touch, to which we can see. So what are the things we are having in physical asset? First things we have, that is computer, then laptop, networking devices, storage devices. All these are considered as a physical assets. Then after, I said you that we have, these are considered as hardware assets also. As we have seen here in previous slide, you can see we can have two types of assets, hardware and software. So these are physical, you can say hardware also. And second thing we have, that is software. Now software means what most of the students know. What you mean by software? Software means the things to which you cannot touch. It is there, but you are not able to touch it, right? So in software, what we are having, we can say operating system, then after applications which are running on that system, then services which are running, then port scanning, API services, protocols which are used, as well as the policies which are applied on that system. All these things are considered as a software assets, right? Up to this it is clear. When we are talking about assets in our system, it may be of two types: physical software or physical assets or software assets. Physical, you can say hardware assets also, laptop, computer, then the cables, data, all these things can be considered on that category. In this software, we have this category. All these can be considered as an important asset and are part of the scope of the risk assessment. As we have seen that when we are going to assess the risk, at that time first we have to identify the assets. This is what you are having in assets. Now if you are able to identify this, then based on that you will be able to identify the scope of your risk assessment, right? So all these things can be considered as an important asset and are part of the scope of the risk assessment. Then after, next thing we have, that is one may identify security concerns in architecture or design. When we are having any organization, at that time we will have the architecture of that organization, means system. If we have system or organization, they will have designing of it, they may have the architecture of it. Sometime we are not having, but in most of the systems we have these two things. So you can also consider that also in risk assessment as an asset, right? By using this process, it is possible to estimate the security of all of this risk to the business and make an informed decision about what to do about those risks. When you are having this capability of identifying the assets involved in your system and you are able to define the scope, the process you are applying, then it is possible that you can have the estimation of severity of all of this risk, how severe the risks are in your system, in your business, and based on that you can have decisions, you can decide what you can do further. This is what it says. Getting? Now having a system in place for rating risk will save time when there is a situation arise to take the critical business decision to reduce the impact. Now when we are talking about this thing, how it will help, how the risk assessment will help. Risk assessment, as I told you, that it will give us the value in the form of numerical value. So if we are having that value, ratings are there to the risk, we have identified the most important assets to which we want to provide the security. So for that assets, what are the risks involved that we have got, the value we have got, then based on it we can take countermeasures immediately. We can take some decisions what we can do to protect it. So actually what it will do, it will help us to save the time when you are having any situation, any critical situation is arising in your business, then at that time you can decide quickly what steps you have to take, and which will help actually to reduce the overall impact of that threat in your system. So this is the use of risk assessment. The next thing we have, that is asset value assessment. Now in asset value assessment, what we are doing, as the name suggests, in previous one we have seen risk value, risk assessment. We have assessed the risk. Now we are going to assess the asset value. Now how to do it? This would be the first involved in measuring the asset value, which is the part of the critical business process. Now, which can be the asset? An asset can be the people, the process, the hardware, the software, the data, anything tangible or intangible. Now what do you mean by tangible or intangible? We know tangible means the things which we can touch, hard things. This screen is there, I am able to touch it, those this is called as tangible. But the data written in it is what? Is one kind of information we are having. Data is there, but when we are combining the data, we are getting some information. So the information which is there is intangible. I can directly not touch the information. It is here on the screen, I am able to touch the screen, so that is tangible. So I may have such type of information, such type of assets in my organization, to which I can touch are called as tangible, and to which I cannot touch are called as the intangible data. So that can also be considered as the asset value. Now here it is written that what can be included in intangible data? It can include the reputation of the organization. Now when we are having any organization, it may have good reputation. Now to it we are not directly able to touch, but it is an asset to our organization. That will be considered in intangible assets. Then after, loss of customer and services. Customers are coming directly, we are not touching to the customer. Getting? We are touching the information of the customer, means we are storing the information of the customer. So that will be the intangible asset to our system. Then the services which we are providing. We are providing the services to the customer. So that are also considered as an intangible assets. So this is what we have in assets. What can be it? The people, process, hardware, software, data, any tangible or intangible things we are having in our system. All are part of the critical business process. These all things can be considered in an asset to our business. The next thing what we have, in order to achieve greater control in risk and with effective least cost, identifying and prioritizing the assets are a critical part of the process from top priority to least priority. Now what we have to get greater control in our risk when we are having system, we have identified the risk, means we have identified first the assets. Now to that assets we want to provide security, and that thing is done. The scope is also defined. Now next thing is what? We have to identify which are the priorities. That is the main biggest task. Now when we are talking about the priorities of this assets to which we want to provide the security, with that we also have to consider the cost factor. Cost should be less, means least cost, and the risk will also get reduced. So how to identify? That is the main big critical part of your organization, to decide from top priority to least priority, to which things you will give the highest priority and which will come to least priority. This can be achieved by identifying the core functions and the process of the organization. Now to help you in identifying the top priority and least priority, what you have to do? You have to consider the core functions and the process of your organization. Based on that, you can identify what are the higher priorities of your system and what are the lower priorities of your system for providing the security, right? Along with this, identifying the physical infrastructure, assets which can be critical, hardware or software related to the business functions, and safety measures which are pre-installed for the emergency situations are need to be considered. With this, you also have to consider the software related to the business functions, whatever hardware or software you are having in your system. Then after, the safety measures, to provide it safety, what measures you have taken, that also you have to take consider, means which are pre-installed safety measures, and emergency situations need to be considered for the asset value assessment. Then after, next thing we have, that is threats, action and its consequences. Now threat, actions and its consequences means what? We can say that threat actions means the process, actually what the attacker has done. Many attacks are there, they are performed in different ways. So which are the processes, which are the ways applied, that are called as the threat action. And its consequences means the results, or the controls which are applied for the threat actions are called as the consequences, right? Now threat actions and its consequences, after identifying the assets value assessment and quantifying it, up to this we have done. We have identified the asset value assessment and we have quantified by prioritizing it. What is the next step? The next step is to conduct the threat assessment where the potential threats are identified. Now we are going to conduct the threat assessment. Now in that, what we are doing? There is another relative term called as hazard. Now what do you mean by hazard? Which is used for the threats which are natural or not man-made. Natural attacks or natural threats, it is not so that every time we are having attacks from the persons or from the attackers only. You may have some attacks which are not man-made, which are natural. That will be considered as hazard here. You also have to consider it as an asset. To it also you have to provide the security. Means actually we are not providing security to it, we are providing the security to our system, that how we will protect the system from the hazards. Getting? Now you may have the problem question that what we are discussing hazard, what to include in it? We can include the earthquake, that is not man-made. it is natural thing. Then flood, then wind disaster. Now these type of things, earthquakes, floods or wind disasters, that also need to be considered. Means we also have to provide security to our system against such type of threats. When we have such threats, that are called as the hazard in our system. Getting? The man-made hazard can be either technological or terrorism, which we can refer as a threats for simplicity. If the threat is not man-made, natural, then we will consider it as hazard. And if the threat is man-made, then it may be technological or terrorism type of attack. To it, in simple terms, we are saying as a threat. So up to this it is clear what is threat. In general, we are considering man-made or technological issues or technological attacks in threat. And if we are not having man-made attacks, then it all will be considered in hazard. These two things we have to consider when we are providing security to our system. Next, that threat actions. Now we have seen here that threat actions and its consequences. So first we need to understand what are the threat actions. Now for threat action, we can understand that it is an assault on system security. On our system, whatever assault we are having for one particular threat, then it is considered as an threat action. Then after we are having threat analysis. Now what do you mean by threat analysis? As the name suggests, it is the analysis about something. About what? About the threat we are having here. Getting? So we can say an analysis of the probability of occurrences and consequences of damaging actions to a system, that is called as the threat analysis. Then after we are having threat consequences, or we can say threat controls. Now what we will consider in threat consequences or in threat controls? A security violation that results from a threat attack. Whatever threat attack we have, based on that, whatever result we are getting is called as the threat consequences. It includes four things. You may have disclosure, you may have deception, you may have disruption, and you may have usurpation. These four are the consequences we may have in our threat value analysis when we are identifying the risk. At that time, all these things will come, and based on that, we will get the value of risk. Here we can see we are having one table in which it explains us that what are the threat actions we have, and based on that what are the consequences we are getting. Right? Now first we will see, here you can see it is written threat action or attack, and here it is written threat consequences. Now in threat action we are having first one, that is exposure. Exposure means sensitive data are directly released to an unauthorized entity. If your threat action is this, then you will get unauthorized disclosure in your system. So what will be the meaning of unauthorized disclosure? It means a circumstance or event whereby an entity gains access to data for which the entity is not authorized. As the name suggests, unauthorized, it means you are not having authority, but then also you are getting the access of the system or of the business organization. So if attack is there, then you will get this consequence. Same thing, if you are having the interception, then what will happen? Then also you will have this consequence. But what do you mean by interception? In interception, an unauthorized entity directly accesses sensitive data traveling between authorized resources, means from source to destination. In that type of in interception, what they are doing, an entity which is unauthorized, is directly accessing the sensitive data from source to destination. Then we have inference. Second attack we are having, that is inference. What is there in inference? A threat action whereby an unauthorized entity indirectly accesses sensitive data by reasoning from characteristics or by products of communications. In this also we are having unauthorized entity who is indirectly accessing the sensitive data. And fourth attack we have, that is intrusion. In intrusion what we have? An unauthorized entity gains access to sensitive data by circumventing a system security protections. So if all this type of attacks we have, all attacks actually means that they are unauthorized, but even though they are trying to access the system. If such type of attacks we have, then we will have the threat consequence that is called as the unauthorized disclosure. What we will have in this? We will have that an entity is getting the access to data from for which they are unauthorized, means they are not having an authority to use it, but they are getting it. So this is first thing we have. Up to this we are keeping. Next thing we will discuss in next lecture. Thank you.
स्वाध्यायः